Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand, welcome to their second to last road trip, and this is a big one of the season. Big one, yes, we have got, around 500 to 600 mile round trip. There and back, Brighton and Hove Albion. Anyway, names aside, really, how important is this game? We discussed it in detail on the fan forum. I touched on it in Ralph Rangnick's press conference yesterday. And you got to look at it in, one or two ways. It's a dead rubber. There's nothing much to play for, especially for Brighton. But I'm pretty certain this is their last home game of the season. I'm not too sure on that. So, bit of a added incentive for them to send off the fans for this season. It's been a decent season for Brighton. So, you would look at that and you would go, yeah, they've got plenty to play for. They've got fans that have been impressed with the season that they've had, and they want to just go out on a high. And you could look at it another way. You could go for United. Well, really, we look like we're pretty much there with the Europa League. One more win would pretty much finish that off and finalise it. Like, we are safe and sound in the Europa League. Woohoo! Big celebration. Not really, but yeah, right now in terms of what we're fighting for, we'd rather be in the Europa League than the bleeding conference. So yes, there is incentive for United. That one more win takes the pressure off the final day, because you know what final days are like. Palace away, they're weird. I mean, today is going to be strange enough with not much on the line, but final days of the season, unless there's something riding on it, then it can be a weird one. Palace will play relaxed next week, so really just United just get the win done and then not worry too much about the last day of the season. That's what I would say. And that's the other way you could look at it. You could look at it and say, yeah, that's how United should be approaching it. And also, like we've said before, last week against Brentford, we had a team that played together and we had a really good performance. Can you back it up? Can you actually show the United fans that you've got 2 wins, back-to-back wins over this back end of the season? Because that's been a rarity, especially from February on, where we've not seen absolutely anything from this team in terms of consistency. It wasn't much better before, to be fair, but you know what I mean? We did have a few spells where we managed to get like a few 3 wins in a row in the league. But really now you got to look at it and go, right, if we beat Brighton, we beat Palace, and we head into the pre-season with a new manager on the horizon, player contracts ending, Deadwood leaving, new players coming in, fresh start, it gives you a little bit more of like a vibe of like encouragement, doesn't it? It gives you a little bit more to cling on to. And for me, that's where United players should be looking at. They should be going, right, okay, the fans have travelled an awful long way. It's a horrible kick-off time. Let's just do what we did against Brentford and play to our, just play to our potential, which on any day should be good enough to compete with anybody, let alone beat other teams. But for me, I think these players should be just putting themselves out there for Ten Hag right now. I think we should be looking at players' performances individually as well as the team. If we play as a team, then the individuals shine. Like Juan Mata did, like Matic, like Bruno against Brentford. Very good performances. Ronaldo himself, I mean, we don't even have to worry about Ronaldo. But you know what? They must be thinking about it. And when I covered Ralph Rangnick's press conference, I was saying on like what Ralph was talking about in terms of that conversation that he's earmarked and booked in to have with Ten Hag. He's definitely talking to him. He's spoken to him already, but he is fully going to sit down and lay out what he's seen and what he's dealt with and what he thinks are his bits of advice to move forward for Ten Hag. So with that fresh in your mind, the players would have seen the press conference. They would have gone, and maybe the agents might have picked up on this as well. Maybe it's like, right, okay, we ain't going to get any better pay anywhere in world football than where we are right now. Let's prove now in these next couple of games that we've got something, that we are good enough to play in this United team going forward under the new regime. So for me, that's where I'm looking at the game in terms of United performance. I think we've all spoke about just playing the same team. That was like a hot topic on the fan forum the other day, and that ideally you never break a winning team. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, why would you? A 3-0 win and a comfortable win as it was, a clean sheet to that. And I was talking about Harry Maguire and what Rangnick was saying in terms of him actually being back in training. Does it really matter if he's back in training? Go sit your ass on the bench, in my words, is what I said. You do not belong in that team. Your performances don't warrant it. And the best defensive performance in terms of like control, I've thought, cohesion with fullbacks and centre-backs and linking with that midfield first line, was against Brentford. And that was a Brentford team that were in decent form, and we made them look pretty average. So why break that? Why break that going forward? Ten Hag may not like Harry Maguire, and Harry Maguire is probably thinking now, oh, bad time to get an injury, because there's not many games left to go and less chance to actually stand out from the crowd in terms of what Ten Hag is going to want and the opportunities these players are going to get to impress Ten Hag. So I just say, look, Maguire definitely doesn't belong in that starting lineup. He really does not belong in that starting lineup for me. And pretty much everyone on the press conference when I covered it on United Stand was saying exactly the same thing. Stay away. Lindelof and Varane look like our best partnership, well, at least under Ralph Rangnick, in my opinion. A lot of people have said exactly the same thing. That is where I think United should be pursuing. We're looking this summer for someone else a little bit better than Lindelof. I think it'll be easier to be better than Maguire at the moment. I mean, you never know. Ten Hag may resurrect Harry Maguire, but we do still need another centre-back. We're probably going to be losing Jones and Eric Bailly this summer. And Lindelof, Maguire and Varane have had bad injury spells all this season and have had time out. So really, another centre-back coming in, definitely. But for now, for the last 2 games of the season, Varane, Lindelof, no issue at all with that whatsoever. It has been the best of what we've got this season and performed the best this season. And I just feel like that needs to stay the same. Shaw, obviously not there. Wan-Bissaka, a bid from Palace reportedly coming in. So there's no point in changing the fullbacks. There really isn't. I would just keep with Dalot and Telles. They were okay against Brentford, so I wouldn't be going too much to town on this. But yeah, there's just nothing else there. No point in changing at this stage of the season. We had an alright team performance against Brentford, and like I said, you just don't fix a winning team unless there's someone absolutely outstanding to come in. But is there anyone outstanding to come into this United team? No, there is not. So don't change it, Ralph. That's the message from the fans. I think I speak for all fans on that one. Leave that defence as it was. Don't bring Harry Maguire in. Simple, done, easy life. Midfield, Fred will be back. Does Fred start? Do you bring him in alongside Matic in that first 2? If it is a 4-2-2, and I think he will go that way again, because he said in his press conference that we controlled the game in possession, and in the 4-2-2 we had a lot more possession and control, like he said, in the final third in particular. So the link play, before we had McTominay and Matic in that 2, does Fred give us any more? Well, Fred has done more damage further forward. So would putting Fred back in that first 2 be a mistake for Ralph Rangnick? That's how I would look at it. But within them 3-2s, there was a lot of interchange. So Bruno dropped back in, Bruno went forward, Mata dropped back in, Mata went further forward. There's a lot of interchange in there. So I'm all for that. And personally, I do believe that Fred has earned his spot in this team and would be the only possible change within it. I said don't break a winning team, but if Fred, and he was unlucky he got the injury when he did, he was probably one of our best players. So, and as my lad Alfie's told me, he's made Team of the Year in FIFA. I don't know if that's even important, people, but you tell me. I'm not that computer savvy, or I'm not 13 anymore. Well, Alfie's 14, but yeah. I still don't understand how people have time to play that game if you're a grown man. But hey, each to their own. Anyway, yeah, I do believe that Fred has earned his spot in, but I've got to stick to my guns and say, look, although I didn't like McTominay, I do believe that it is a good thing not to break a winning team. So Fred, he would be the only close call for me. Everyone else stays exactly the same. Exactly the same. No Rashford on the bench today. Obviously, I think he's got bronchitis. I think Ralph said in the press conference, high temperature. So no Rashford. What does that mean? Do we get another youth player on the bench? Who comes in? Does that mean Garnacho has a better chance of getting on off the bench? Or does Garnacho say, hang on a minute, I can't risk the FA Youth Cup final, which has over 50,000 tickets sold on Wednesday. No, he's going to say, get me there right now and be in that first team. It's brilliant to see young players come out. And you know what? If we can get a couple of goals, I'm not saying this or taking Brighton for granted in any way, shape or form. They do scare me with some of the players that they've got, especially the likes of Lamptey. Obviously, we know about Basuma. I mean, Mopai can turn up on his day and have one of them days. We know what he's like, hot and cold. Trossard as well is another one that's always had a decent game against United that I've seen. But, you know, it is what it is with Brighton. They could turn up, they might not turn up. But for me, I do think United have got a chance. I've gone with 3-0 United, and my reasons behind it are, if he picks the same team, I'm confident with it. If he doesn't, and he brings in and chops and changes it, he upsets the flow. I think Ralph's got the balls to do it, and I could be totally wrong, and he may change it up. There may be Fred and Maguire coming back in this team. But I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go 3-0. We're going to back it up. We're going to back it up. You know what I mean? I think Brighton at the back aren't as strong anymore. And I do believe I've seen for the first time our best consecutive sort of spells of possession and decent possession in a final third of a pitch at Old Trafford against Brentford. So I'm going to go with that. That's where I'm leaning towards with my 3-0. So they're my predictions, guys. That's what it is. Almost there. One more to go. After today, that is. And that's in a couple of weeks at Palace. But guys, let me know what you think. This was your road trip. They're my thoughts on the team and what I think is going to go down today. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments in below. Obviously, give the video a like and subscribe to the United Stand. Cheers for watching, everybody. I will see you after the game for the fan vlogs. Let's see what happens in a bit.